people that think, oh, it's okay if I lose money on my Black Friday sales. But what we know that less than 15% of people that buy from a store on Black Friday ever even return to that store.
Something I used to hear merchants talk about is like, I don't know if I want to do this. You know, maybe the people that aren't using the discount codes, they didn't want to. Right. They were fun. And then, you know, if they open an incognito window, they go to your website, they're like, everyone else is paying full price. I'm getting a special deal. I better grab it now.
Daniel Patricio spent the last 8 years as a leader at Shopify building famous tools you know and love, such as marketing channels and the buy button. He's taken all that experience and launched his own app, Abra Promotions, designed to help Shopify merchants create powerful promotions never before possible.
As a customer, you're like, 10%? But then you're also like, surely there's a bigger discount somewhere else.
Right. If they're giving 10% to everyone who just signs up, where's the real discount here?
You know, the first battle you gotta win is in the inbox. And like, we can change things on the storefront. So what can we do with this? And something I noticed when I was looking at a lot of affiliate links from different merchants is like, sometimes when you go to the website, there was no experience. And the other thing is like,
Daniel, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
You know, I was thinking right before this, 2 out of the last 3 guests have been ex-Shopify employees. Like, maybe I'll make this a trend. Just, I had Alok on, who's the founder of Trexity. Yeah. And then Ross from Reactive. Yeah. And now you. So like, that should be I could probably make a podcast of just ex-Shopify employees that are now building in the ecosystem, solving problems for merchants. So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I always like to break the ice with a fun question right off the start. What were you doing 15 minutes before this?
15 minutes before this, I was making a coffee, espresso.
Which I just saw, actually.
Yeah, before this. And I made my wife a tea. Rooibos tea.
Oh, look at you.
South African rooibos tea.
Oh, man.
Still a good guy.
You learn a lot about a person, you know, when you jump on a call, like right before they're getting the kids out the door or making the bed or cleaning the kitchen, or it's interesting getting off a sales call. So you were making tea for your wife. You are.
There you go.
That's
love to have that on the record.
That's right. Let the record show he was making tea for his wife. We'll make sure she gives a 5-star review for that when it comes out. Okay, so let's get on to things that really matter to our listeners. You've built an amazing solution for Shopify, which I want to let you introduce it. I'm really excited to dive into it because I know this is a challenge and a pain point, the whole area of promotions and doing it well. And should I discount? Should I not discount? So tell me what you've built and why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with Abra, we've built a system that we aim to help merchants increase the conversion rate of their promotions. And we do that by helping improve the customer experience for it. And, you know, the kind of genesis for this was, I've worked at Shopify for a long time, and I was a merchant while I was at Shopify. And, you know, while I was at Shopify, I was like, oh man, whenever I'm sending out my marketing emails, it's so frustrating. I give a discount to a customer, give them the code. They either less people than I thought bought it, or people message my customer support and be like, oh, the discount code didn't work. I forgot to add it. And I was always just like, why can't we just show them it? Like, just show them the discount. Just like they click on it, they get it, and that kind of thing. And that's kind of where we started with Abra. And, you know, I'd quit Shopify and I was going into the depths of my store as a full-time thing. And I came back to this problem, built a prototype. And where the business kind of evolved is being, okay, if you got that magic wand and now you can apply discounts on the storefront, what do you want next? And the truth comes down to that. Like, people don't want to just discount because they don't want to just give away their margin. They want to get smarter. They want to offer more interesting things. And so where the business really evolved is like we help merchants with complex promotions, sophisticated merchandising needs, make it like a butter smooth storefront experience, and that makes them a ton of money. So,
okay, so you were kind of at Shopify, the marketing. You helped build the buy button. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So,
so I joined Shopify in 2013, and I was one of the first kind of product managers, and I worked on the first version of channels,
okay.
and then we were building out channels, and we needed a channel, and so I started building the buy button, and that was kind of opening up to like building a lot of storefront APIs and the first
Yeah.
kind of headless stuff. And around that time, I was also starting to build my own store. So I sold biltong, which is like South African beef jerky. Online, and I was kind of realizing like, oh, Shopify's not really helping with marketing. Like,
Yeah.
there's a big gap in my store. How do I know how my emails performed? How do I know how this did? My ads are performing in kind of real time, and so that was kind of the genesis for the marketing section.
Hmm.
It took many, many years to make all of that kind of real, and yeah, I ended up spending 8 years at Shopify, and the marketing section was kind of my baby for a lot of it.
What was the first thing in there? Was it like, now there's a lot from email campaigns? Was it like Facebook ads, or what was the
Yeah,
first thing in the marketing section?
yeah. So it's Facebook ads and Google Shopping
Okay.
were the first kind of two, and then it expanded to be TikTok, Snap, Pinterest.
Yeah.
Worked with a lot of partners on that side, and also the larger ecosystem, and then email and those sort of things.
So you've kind of always been of this marketing mind. Like, you've seen the pain that merchants have. I think every year when Shopify does their annual survey, they say like, what are your biggest challenges? Marketing and acquiring customers, like that's usually at the very, very top.
Yeah. It was always the biggest problem. It was always the biggest pain point, and I think in the early days, like, a lot of shop was making all of that easy, everything else easy.
Mm-hmm.
Shopify Payments launched when I just joined Shopify. The online store has got easier and easier and more self-serve. I think there were like no theme settings or any kind of blocks back in 2013.
Yeah.
So all of that got easier, but like, marketing never did.
Right.
And I think, I think a big reason it's kind of been interesting to build marketing tech outside of Shopify is like, marketing is one of those things where everyone's got a different playbook a little bit. Everyone's got their own rules. Everyone's got their own margins, their own ways of thinking about things, their own need to be creative. And so it's hard for, when you're inside, to build like the thing that can serve 80% of people. And so, yeah, I've really enjoyed I loved working at Shopify. I loved building things inside, and I learned so many things, but it's fun to be on the other side of the puzzle. And now I can cheat a little bit. If I want a feature, I can build it quick.
Yeah.
Hack it together. And even like, when we're outside, when you're inside Shopify, we'd always be like amazed on how creative, agencies and app developers, you're like, you can't do this. You're like, oh, what do you mean you can't do this? You just hack this together and this and this together, and it works together. And you're like, So,
well, that's the world we lived in and still live in at Bold, right? Like, it was like basically pushing the boundaries of what is possible, and then Shopify saying, I don't know if you can do that. Oh, actually, yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's build some APIs so we can properly support this. Like, that's the sign of a good platform, to be honest. Like, it's you look at platforms like Apple, and it's the app developers that call it hacking if you want. They, like I remember the first time I jailbroke my phone and I could get notifications on my lock screen. So I downloaded like a jailbroken version of an OS so that I could see text messages on my lock screen and notifications. And then, Apple came out with a way that, now apps can push notifications to the lock screen. And it's a symbiotic relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Like, app developers pushing the platform and the platform adapting for the app developers. So I've always really appreciated that about Shopify. So
100%.
Now you're on our side, brother. Keep pushing them. So what I want to tell me a little bit more about Abra, and I have a lot of questions I want to get into on promotions, but you kind of touched it on a high level. Mm-hmm. So but tell me, like, if I install Abra,
Mhm.
what can I do as a merchant? What kind of tools are available to me?
Yeah, so the most basic version of Abra was like for that merchant that wants to give a 10% off discount on certain products to their customers they're sending an email to. And what you can do with Abra is you can put, if you put Abra link equals the discount code in the URL,
Yeah,
anyone that clicks through that URL, they'll see the discount applied on the collection page, on the product page, in cart, and going to checkout.
that's awesome. So rather than sharing a coupon code in an email that someone has to copy and paste, click, they land on the site, they don't necessarily know what products it applies to or what the discount is. So if something is $199 and you're sharing a 20% discount code, if you use an Abra link, I land on the site and now that product is showing $160.
Yeah.
Just, or whatever the code is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it, so it's smart. It knows if it applies to a product or not. Like if that discount is applicable to shoes, but not t-shirts, the shoes will show the discount, but not the t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Yeah. That has to have a huge impact on conversion, just like the visually seeing that discount, right?
Yeah. The interesting thing is like, when we first started talking to merchants, so everyone was like, oh yeah, that's silly. It should have always worked that way. That's great.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that was a pain in the ass.
The best solutions always are simple when you think about it after.
Yeah. And I think the thing that really kind of surprised us is like how good the numbers actually were. Because I think something I used to hear merchants talk about is like, I don't know if I want to do this. Maybe the people that aren't using the discount codes, they didn't want to. Right. They were fine. They wanted to pay full price.
They were fine, paid full price. Right.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I've seen enough data that's absolute ridiculous. Like it's completely wrong. Like, we see a lot of merchants, first of all, like they see like a 20 to 30% lift in conversion. And for me, it's like
when they turn on the smart links that show the discounts.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Because, for me, it's all the people that are like, I think it comes from two things. It's one, like, I don't even know what the percentage is, but like most traffic's on mobile, right? And if I'm sitting in line to get a coffee and I get an email saying, or an SMS saying like, hey, you got this deal right now. And then I open it up and I'm like, wait, that's actually quite expensive. It's $200. Am I getting the discount? Am I not getting the discount? Maybe I'll look at this later. And then you never look again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like we capture those people and that's like the first thing. And I think, the next thing is that AOV, right? So, nobody's shopping with a calculator next to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and ideally you can get people to spend more when you have those kind of incentives. And so, we've seen like, depends on like in beauty, we see it working a lot better because like, if you've got products under $30 and you've got these thresholds or jewelry, we find people add a ton. And sometimes we see like 200-300x increases in AOV versus their baseline because people are like, oh, wait, I'm actually going to save 30%. 30% is actually $60. You know what I mean? On this product. Oh, damn. Okay. Let's keep going. Let me add more to cart. So I think it's like, that was always kind of the really interesting stuff there. And then, that was always fun and it was great starting, but like the most fun part of kind of building this has been, merchants that like saw the value and they're like, this is cool, Dan. I've been looking for this forever. But the merchants are like, wait, but if I have this magic power, like what can I do next? Like, can I have more control over the discounts? Like, do I have to make everything discounted at the same amount? Can I do tiered discounts? Can I do this? Can I do that? And, it's been the most exciting part, I think, of the last year of like in working with these larger merchants. Once they started working with our tool belt, they started to do things that could make them a lot more profitable. And that's when it really kind of comes together. And like, this November, December was like absolutely insane for us. And, versus like my first 2 years, my first two BFCMs with Abra, the thing we were doing now is like we were doing in October early access sales. So because we turn on a discount, people were doing, their homepage was all prim and proper. You know what I mean? No
Mm-hmm,
discounts.
mm-hmm.
Here's the new products we got for the holidays. And then if you got the specific link, you could get access to up to 40% off on a sale. So we did like certain merchants, we did like almost $10 million sales
Wow.
through these private links that they're giving access to their site. Yeah.
That's okay. I wanted a couple things. One is, what about stores that can always have a discount on products?
Mhm.
I guess it would, like lots of stores you go to, they just always have like the high retail price and there's just a persistent discount.
Mm-hmm.
So will it show the discount on top of that, or do they need to have only one price?
I mean, we can dynamically manipulate prices anywhere and everywhere. So if they've got a compare at price, we can actually mark it down to the lowest possible rate.
Okay.
In any app on their storefront, whether it's their upsells or their, cart recommendations or search results, we can change the prices literally everywhere there.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if they're running discounts, whatever the coupon code will discount, it will reflect that.
Yeah. And a big thing we found, actually, my first A/B test on Abra was on my own store, and we just built the price matching feature.
Mm-hmm.
Like the updating. And then like I was doing a bunch of user testing, and the conversion rate was good, but it wasn't as high as I was expected. And I spoke to a bunch of people and they're like, oh, I thought that was just the compare at price. And like just the normal compare at price. You said I was getting a discount.
But that was a question I had, right? Yeah.
And so, I mean, because I think there's actually a bit of mistrust in compare at prices from customers, and like Google released that thing last year, which will like index all your prices and graph it for people. So it's like, they kind of can call you out on it. And so I think something we tried to do as a part of it is like creating these banners that would follow you through the experience. And so it says like, you are saving this amount because of this code. And then people are like, oh, I get it. Like, and then, if they open an incognito window, they go to your website, they're like, everyone else is paying full price. I'm getting a special deal. I better grab it now. You know what I mean?
So there's another indicator other than just the marked down price, because that's what I would have questioned as well too. So how do they know that's just not one of these stores that always has a compare at price on everything? This is a promotional price that is currently it's active just for this session. That's indicated on the when they land on the site.
I think we literally saw like it doubled the conversion rate when we did that. Like,
okay, it makes sense.
Baseline, not applying a discount, then like we got like a 50% gain in conversion when we kind of auto applied it, and that was good. And then we got another 50% on top of that when we actually had like the supporting context. I think like, one of the first things I worked on at Shopify was onboarding for Shopify. So like how you actually sign up and what you do when you get on the product. And again, one of the things I just learned, like we think about user experience. My co-founder and I worked at a design agency that was acquired by Shopify. So we were always very user experience first. And, the key thing is like consistency. Like, if your email says you're getting a deal, then the website should say you should get a deal, and checkout should say you get the deal. And if you do that, more people will feel comfortable and more people will buy. So always something we think about of like, how can we maintain consistency as high up the funnel and as consistently as possible through it? Bit of maybe a technical way of kind of thinking about it. But for me, everything is kind of user and customer experience first. That's a secret to like increasing conversions. Like make people happy, right? Make them not scared, like make them satisfied, It's like simple. Yeah.
Well, and it makes sense because you said earlier that, actually seeing the discount has an impact on buying behavior. And I just am remembering this last Black Friday, there was a particular store I was shopping at. I got a discount code. It was a 30% by email. It's like our Black Friday sale is on. I got a discount code. It was like Black Friday 30 or something, but I had to copy and paste it. We should get them using Abra, I guess. But so I went to the site. I added, it was kind of like an athleisure company. And I went to the site and I bought a few, a shirt, some pants, a few other things added to the cart, got to checkout, entered my code. Once I was in checkout, then I entered it. I saw saving $78 or whatever it was. I was like, oh yeah, that's real money. Yeah. I went back and I added more to the cart.
Exactly.
I bought more once I saw that, like, there's something tangible about seeing, like, my shopping basket was $348 and now it's $260 or whatever it was. Like, oh, that's real money. And then I kind of thought in my head, that's $78. I can just go get another free shirt or two, right? Like, that's how my brain went. And so I went and I bought more.
Yeah.
And so it's not only probably the impact on conversion, which you said you're seeing 30 or 40%, it's probably higher AOV as well too, right?
Yeah. I think on the customer side, again, like, if you don't give discounts often, which you don't want to do, and you want to make them special, which you want to do, like, people want to spend as much as possible. Like, how can you make that easy for them?
Yeah.
Like, again, do the math with them, let them know, right? So, I think that's the one interesting thing we've seen, like, behavior-wise. And then I think, again, like, one of the most interesting things over the last couple of years was when we spoke to merchants and understanding their problems. Realistically, there's almost, I always heard this, like, argument between, like, the finance guy and the marketing person in every brand. Where the finance guy's like, why are we giving 30% off on everything? Mm-hmm. And then, like, the poor e-commerce manager's like, well, listen, I know, socks don't cost as much as jackets, but, like, I can't tell our customers that jackets are 40% off and socks are 10% off. Like, I don't have a way to do that on the website. So we have to give everyone 30% off, And so where it's very fun for us is, like, we can we can make both people happy and be like, hey, listen, if you actually give people a way bigger than because, the customer wants more than 30% if it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so we've kind of started building functions instead of just taking a 10%. We're building complex functions now where, like, the e-commerce manager can be like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'll do 50% off on this thing that's been sitting on the shelf for 2 months. But, our top seller, we can only do 10% off. And then from a customer experience, it's all butter smooth. It's all the same. It doesn't matter to us what the rules are. And so, like, the thing I'm probably most proud of is, like, again, we're not a discounting app for discounters. Like, where, if anything, where we work really well is for the merchants that don't like discounting. They don't want to discount, but, they got inventory. They got VIP customers. They need to move sales, right? And they want to do it in a smart way. They want to do it in a profitable way. And I think those are the most fun problems we love. When, like, a merchant comes to us and be like, Daniel, love this promotion you have, but I'd really like if we could do like $1 off, or could we do it tier, or could we, like, limit it to only being on this collection and not this collection, and, like, combine it, and, like, let me think about it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's dig into it, because those are the fun problems.
Yeah, this is really powerful. Like, I want to dive into this. So you can create different discounts by, like, can you hand select products? Is it by collection or, like, product type, or what's the criteria in setting that up?
Yeah. So, when we started, we were just taking Shopify discounts that you created in Shopify. We said, throw that on your website. We'll make that work.
Yeah.
But we've kind of got this layer for changing things in your website now.
Yeah.
And what we started doing is we have, I think it's about, like, 6 different promotions, or 6 discount types that you can create that are managed by us. And so we have the form that can have all the variables, and we can do many things in it. So, the one that we do is it's called a multi-value discount. So with this one, you can pick up to 100 collections with 100 different discount rates. So you can say,
wow,
last season socks are 20%. This season socks are 15%. Jackets are whatever percentage. So, and that's all a single discount code for the customer. It's a single discount code at checkout. And, like, it works super smooth on the storefront.
So you give one link, a customer clicks one link, and the site, everything is discounted differently without with one code. Like they don't actually have to enter this code either. We say
Exactly.
code,
Yeah,
but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't need to know that it's a code. It's helpful for conversion perspective, is my hypothesis, that it is a code, right?
I think customers probably feel more safe knowing that there is a code there. Like, what if I click on this on my phone and I want to open up the site on my laptop? Like, I don't have to forward myself. Like, there is a code.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if they don't ever even think about it and click the link, it still works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we've done a bunch of stuff for merchants where like if you go to their cart and you put in a code, we can actually, like, using our API or our SDK, we can actually trigger a promotion on. So it lights up like a Christmas tree with like cool that offer or that kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
So we do that. We've done a lot of stuff with gift with purchase. So again, we can qualify it on number of items, total spend, number of items or total spend from a certain collection, and you can get it in a certain one. So we did a lot of work. That was actually the first function we started building. And then kind of at the tail end of last year, we started doing a lot with tiers. So it's like based on the amount you spend, we'll like, it'll literally change prices in front of your eyes. You know what I mean? Like, so we say, oh, if you spend $100, you get 15% off. And then you hit 50% off, and then it's boom, everything changes immediately. We've done that with gifts as well. So those are a lot of the kind of building blocks that
super
we're
cool
working around. And then, I think the big things we're thinking about going into this year is like kind of combinations of different discounts, like gift with purchase and, product discounts. And how do you pull off that, which is a big multiplier in complexity for us, but like a big one. And like bundles is a big thing we hear about. It might not be, we're not trying to build a bundling app, but like we hear a lot about merchants wanting to like, buy 3 shoes at $100 or those kind of things. And essentially, like, the thing we do is like we work very closely with all the merchants that we work with. And so, this is a very fun time of year for us. After Black Friday, we say,
you hear everything they did. What went wrong? What went well?
Yeah.
How can we make it better for next? Yeah.
What's next? What's the next crazy idea you have around it, and how can we kind of make that happen? Yeah.
So the tiered discounts you said you're using functions for that. So you're not requiring customers to enter coupon codes. It's done. And for those listening, can you explain Shopify functions?
Yeah. So, a problem with Shopify discounts is, merchants have a million ideas on how they'd write and create discounts, and Shopify can only build so many things, right? In terms of the discounts they had. So, for Plus merchants, I don't even know how many years ago it was, quite a few years ago, 5+ years, Shopify Plus had scripts.
Yep.
And Shopify scripts allowed you to do anything, kind of. You could have a developer help you write code in the script editor in Shopify, and it can do things with discounts. Yep. There are a bunch of reasons scripts were not great. Obvious ones to merchants might be, I need a developer to do this. Who knows what they look like if they break something. You have to be on Plus as like another downside, right?
Yeah.
And then I think on the technical side, there were some things that were concerning about how it worked. So what Shopify ended up doing with functions was, coming to the ecosystem, coming to partners such as ourselves, and say, hey, if you want to create discounts, go for it. There's some complex things that you want to do, tiers, gift with purchase even. And we're going to give you APIs so you can do it. But then for a merchant, they just use an app to create what used to be a script rather than having to write code themselves. And so the powerful thing for us is like, we can do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff we've built has been like market specific. So you can like limit discounts to certain markets, or we worked with Tapcart and we made discounts only work in a mobile app. So like we can literally code any kind of complexity to work at checkout. And for a merchant, it's just go use our app, get a form.
Yeah.
It'll work predictably, and so it's quite exciting for us because like anything's kind of possible on the discounts front.
Yep. And then it's just clean too, right? There's no, any messy extra duplicates, anything, or in the back end. That's a great use case with TapCard. So they're obviously driving more people to download their mobile app to get exclusive discounts in the mobile app, which you're giving them. So you're powering the discounts in the mobile app as well.
Yeah.
Because
it was a big thing we learned on the web was like the stuff we love to do was around exclusivity. You know what I mean? It was about, I have this VIP segment. I want to kind of get them to do something there. And, in looking at mobile, the story of mobile apps are like, hey, listen, it might not be all your customers, right? But it's like, it's those 20% of your best customers. They're going to download an app. They want to want push notifications when the new, like, I love their TapCard merchant too. They're called Malbon. Really cool hit golf stuff. And like whenever they launch a new collection or a collaboration, it sells out so quickly. And like I almost have the app on my phone just so I can get notifications when cool stuff is coming out first and you can buy it quickly and that kind of thing. And so, so I think that's like, it's
what's the brand?
Malbon, Malbon.
Okay. I want to check it out.
Yeah, really cool. But yeah, so we started there and then like we learned like some of the most interesting things we're doing, and on mobile apps, I mean, Shopify hasn't built these features, right?
Yeah.
Yet on the online store. So, many mobile app platforms don't have those features. And it's kind of really interesting timing where TapCard is launched their new app studio and basically allows you to kind of build things with React components. So for us, it's awesome. We can just like open up the app and we can build all our complex logic right in there and make it butter smooth. So yeah, we're the fun part now is like basically anything we can offer on the web.
Yeah,
we're offering on TapCard now, which is very fun.
Super cool. And we were talking, was it last week or a couple weeks ago, with email collection pop-ups. Is that something you're doing already or plan to do?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of something we've done from the beginning.
Okay.
So, we ran into a lot of like even merchants that don't discount do a 10 or 15%.
Right. They have so I should give some context to my question was the email pop-up that pops up on a site, enter your email, get 10% off, and maybe a text number as well. And then it either displays it or texts it to you or emails it to you. But you can, after someone enters their email, they say, great, the site has been discounted, essentially.
Yeah. So, we spoke to a lot of merchants that were looking at that and they were like, you look at your funnel and you're like, oh, how many emails do we get? How many of them converted and whatever? And we're like, why don't you just get them to buy? Like the best way to get an email is for them to enter it at checkout, not just in the email. So something we did, as you said, is like as soon as they enter in the email, they press enter and then boom, literally in the background, we can mark down the prices. So we started there and then we had some merchants that even like, wait, what if I do a gift with purchase? What if like, as soon as I do that and if I spend $100, I get a gift with purchase? Amazing.
I like that so much better personally. Like it feels like for me when I get an email from a brand saying like spend $100 today, get a free t-shirt or get a shaker bottle with your health supplements or whatever, I'm more inclined to buy on those because it feels like something free versus a discount, which is a little bit one step away from a free thing. It's a little bit less tangible, but like there's an actual free thing that will be in my hand,
I totally agree. I find like, especially that welcome discount, right? Like it's kind of in a bit of a no man's land. It feels like nothing as a customer. You're like 10%, but then you're also like, surely there's a bigger discount somewhere else, So it actually, I think, has a bit of a negative effect, like a double-ended kind of negative effect.
Right. If they're giving 10% to everyone who just signs up, where's the real discount here?
Yeah. And whereas I think the gift with purchase, it can be many things, right? It can be something exclusive. It can be something unique. It can be something special. It can be something complimentary. And again, you just get away from the math. It's just be like, oh, do I want that thing? Not kind of there. So Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've been doing it for a couple years now. Like from the beginning, people have used it and had great results. But like I think something we're going to try this year is like kind of setting it up for free for merchants. Like we've always had a free trial where the first promotion is literally free. Like our engineers do all the setup, we do everything. It's like, don't believe me saying the numbers are good. Like go measure it yourself, please. Like I'm very happy to. And so it's a big thing I think we're going to push on, especially at the start of this year, is like, I think with a lot of merchants thinking about retention, thinking about their own channels, we want to kind of set up as many people as we can on that pop-up. Whether that's a gift with purchase offer or a percentage off, like whatever that is, like it's, I think it's going to be a big focus for us this year.
Is that something for sure you want to do? Is that something we can detail in like show notes, or that's something you're planning to for like the fall?
No, I've got a landing page. We can.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm putting you on the spot here, Daniel. So what is the offer? Because we'll message this out. So when someone onboards with Abra, you're going to set up the first promotion for free. Yeah.
So if someone has the email pop up on their store that has a discount or a free gift, it doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
We'll set it up to be dynamic, auto apply, strike out, completely free for them.
Amazing. So they can see if it works. Like it's like you're putting your money where your mouth is. I love it. Yeah. Is there, you said there's a landing page. Is there somewhere someone needs to go, or is it anyone that like installs it right now? You're reaching out saying, hey, do you want to take advantage of this?
Yeah. Anyone that installs can message us and we'll set it up for them. And we do have a landing page with a bit more info on it and that sort of thing. Yeah. But they install Abra. If you message us, you'll get me or Ilya, like co-founder. We do all the front end kind of support and onboarding and strategy with folks. And we can get you set up.
Amazing. What is the perfect promotion? Like if I open up 10 emails on into Black Friday or Independence Day coming up or Valentine's, there's going to be 20% off site-wide. There's going to be spend 100, get this. There's the free gift. There's, is there a certain threshold? Like, does 10% not move the needle? Do you know, like, what can you tell me about, like, if you ran a brand and you have one Black Friday it doesn't have to be Black Friday. This can be like any sale coming up. You have one promotion run. What are you running? What are you, like, what's the best one that you would put together?
Yeah. So, I mean, I always start from, what are the constraints, right? So for a customer, what are their expectations, right? They want something special. They want something unique. Because, the first battle you got to win is in the inbox, right? If Valentine's Day is coming up or like 4th of July or Black Friday, they are getting more emails than just from you. Right. And if you're going for 10%, like it's just not going to get a click. Never mind a purchase, never mind a big cart, right? Yeah. There's all the things we want. But if you can't get people to click, you got a problem. So, as a merchant, you got to make it interesting. It's got to be, if it's a gift, it's something that they want. They want early access to. If it's a discount, it's got to have the carrot of being bigger, right? The other constraint is on the merchant side is like, you need to make money. You want to make money, obviously marketing things 50% off.
And I don't think you can just joke about that. Like we laugh about that, but there's a lot of people that think, oh, it's okay if I lose money on my Black Friday sales. I'll keep these customers around. But what we know that less than, what was it? I think it was less than 15% of people that buy from a store on Black Friday ever even return to that store, like not let alone buy again. So no, you have to make money. That shouldn't go without saying.
I mean, I feel like I was burned by, because I used to have a food product, right? And we used to sell grass-fed beef jerky. We had like some stuff that was bigger, some that was small. We have different size bags. The margins were all over the map, right? Yeah. And like there's so many Black Fridays I did analysis from. And I'm like, oh man, we got hosed. Like we got hosed on this product. Everyone bought the one product we didn't want them to do it. And we actually like lost 5 or 10% on like all those SKUs. So I think, that's the challenge. And so I think the number one thing is like, I would say is like, don't discount everything. Like be smart, know your numbers, know your customers, and try and like change the kind of strategy there. So if that's a per SKU strategy of like, hey, I'm going after this category, we're going to do 20%. This one, we might actually do 50% off. Like the upside to that varied strategy is you in your email, you can say, oh, we're doing 50% off. Even if your best sellers happen to be 10% off.
Up to 70% off, right? Exactly. Like you can say that then.
Exactly. And then, you get the clicks, because the first battle is you got to get people to click. You got to get people to open the email to do the SMS. Then you got to get them on the site to buy. And so, the next thing I always think about is like average order value. So like, the reason I love tiers, the reason I love free gifts is like, you can kind of triangulate, what is your current average order value and what is your average order value you need to make this difference kind of matter. And, in addition to just the conversion boost that you give by people shopping there, that incentive that gets people to stretch, like, I almost think about your tiers of like, okay, the baseline might be your current average order value. The tier 2 might be like 15% of your average order value. And then the third tier is like plus 30% of your average order value, and do that math. And, the thing that excites me is like, you should have it all in your promotion, right? Like it should be profitable. It should increase average order value, and it should have like high engagement. So those are the things I would say I look for in the perfect promotion.
You're reading my mind here. Like I love the gift with purchase at around 15 or 20% more than AOV. Like, so if you have an average order value of like $75 or $80, you make the free gift at $90 or $100, roughly 15, 20% more. And then that gift can be like a $50 item that only costs you like maybe $15 or $20 because it's some type of a promotional item. Like maybe it's it's a t-shirt or a hoodie or sweater or something. It can be something but it's $50 to the customer. So it almost feels like 50% off. Like you're spending $90 or $100 and you're getting something for $50. So it feels incredibly valuable, but it's better than giving $50 off on the items that you don't want to discount, right? I'm a huge fan of that. And I don't see enough stores do that. I think it takes time, and to be honest, it's complicated to set those offers up. And I think that's why a lot of stores just default to 20% off site wide or 30% off site wide. And that sucks that they have to do that.
I mean, I do think it comes down to like, I think everyone wants to do that, but it can be like hard. And like, our November was quite hectic because I could
imagine
we had merchants, e-commerce managers that show up and be like, hey, so me and my team agreed on this offer and it's launching tomorrow. Wow. And how do we do it? And then like, it's always very cool when you can. It's like, oh, look, it's easy. It'll take us 2 hours. Here you go. You're ready to go. Here's the link, But I think, the mystery for me is like, is because it's technically hard, right? Like it's technically hard to do. It's complicated. And so, I think for these strategies to work, it's got to be technically simple. It's got to be a good customer experience. Like that's the way it's going to change, right? Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. Like we have a number of apps that are quite popular over Black Friday, like our upselling app, and I think our peak, like it's kind of steady, but we see this real spike, and it's only like 3 weeks before Black Friday. It's so like people are you'd think planning ahead, but they're not. They're like, oh shoot, it's November. I'm already getting emails from all my competitors because Black Friday really starts the beginning of November now.
Yeah.
And then they're mass, like I gotta spin up some promotion. And so they haven't put really any thought into what are their margins on the different products, what's the psychology of the buyer, which ones, how can they really increase AOV? So, I don't know the exact date that this episode will come out, but it's not too early, and it's not even Black Friday. It's like I think you should be looking for opportunities all year long. When Amazon runs their Prime Day sales, run something to match it, right? Like do yours too, or Independence Day or Valentine's or, Because there's a lot of noise in the holidays, and yes, you should for sure do it. But I think there's a lot of other opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, in Q1, we see people being a lot more strategic of like, are you launching new products? Do you have excess inventory? And like, I think it's a missed opportunity to not merchandise around that. In Q2, we get a lot more holidays, right? A lot of the gifting, Mother's Day, Father's Day, you name it, right? And then you don't need to explain Q4, but like, again, like you said, it's getting a lot more, like the interesting things we see are like in October, people clearing inventory before November because they have different inventory they want to sell. Black Friday, I could talk about for hours on the different playbooks we see. And then December, you see people either trying to, juice their end of year numbers. There's gifting around there. So I think it's like, there's always a smart way to do things. If you plan ahead, ask yourself the strategic questions, ask which customer you're trying to help here. But there's always kind of an opportunity. And like, even for us, this time of the year, a big thing we see is like influencers and affiliates.
Mm-hmm,
right? Like people are kind of coming back to those channels and being like, oh, how can I improve the user experience for my affiliates? Or how can I improve the experience for my upsells, my retention funnels, or whatever that thing is. So yeah, I think there's always an opportunity. Yeah.
Super relevant question. I hadn't thought about that, but for affiliate links, can you just tack on the Abra discount URL details at the end of most affiliate links?
Yeah. So the short answer is you can. And the fun answer is like, a question we asked ourselves was like, okay, cool. We've got links. They're going out to customers. And like we can change things on the storefront. So what can we do with this? And, something I noticed when I was looking at a lot of affiliate links from different merchants is like, sometimes when you go to the website, there was no experience. There was no experience of coming from that influencer. And the other thing is like, sometimes there would be competing offers.
Right.
You'd have an influencer saying, oh, I'm coming in for 20%. And then it's like, no.
Some other pop-up comes.
You're getting 10% off from us. And it's like, oh, so we actually worked with Social Snowball. So they're like an affiliate platform.
Yeah.
And we ended up actually designing a bunch of components that actually pull in the data from the influencer.
Okay.
From the affiliate. So when you click on a link, you can actually have a banner that says, hey, coming to like Daniel Patricia recommended you. You're actually saving 15% off and the dynamic pricing is applied. So that's something,
that's amazing. That's got to be good for affiliates too, because they're putting so much effort into creating their content and they want to convert better too. So I would want to work with Abra. Like, could you stick it on, like Social Snowball is a great platform, but like if someone's using like Share a Sale, Commission Junction, or like even, like with Shopify, they have their own internal collabs, or Kick Booster is a great one. Would it work on the end of most, as long as it eventually ends up in however they redirect on the final URL, right?
Yeah. The key thing is to get on the right URL.
Because like a lot of them pass through UTM parameters.
Yes.
So as long as they pass through UTM parameters, anything after like that should be included, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so some of the stuff, some of the experiments I've been running, I mean, we tested with Bull and Cleaver. I think which was my store. I think we got like a 30% lift in conversion from how we were doing it before. But something we've been tinkering with a couple of merchants of ours is like storing actually the like images of the creators.
Yeah.
And so we're actually like personalizing the site when you're coming in and saying, hey, you're coming from Julie's whatever store. And it's because it's like, again, for me, it's always that consistency of the funnel is the experience, right? So you're on Instagram, you click a link in bio, it says you're going to get a discount. You go to the website, you're like, wait, am I getting the discount? You're screaming about another offer. And is this Julie's offer? Whereas I think like where we've seen the lift is like, hey, you are seeing Julie's offer. It is 20% off. Look, you can see the prices. You get it. Like, again, it's all just like kind of basic user experience. You know what I mean?
Well, I know the guys at Super Affiliate. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Yeah,
I met up with them when I was in New York.
Yeah. There's probably definitely an integration you can do here, but I mean, like that's the whole thesis why they built that was they give dedicated kind of landing pages that affiliates can curate, and they can actually even pick their own products. So it's like Daniel's picks, or but like there is a lot to be said that because people have the relationship with the influencer, and they might not have a relationship with your brand at all. If I'm coming from Tim Ferriss's link, I want to see Tim Ferriss's pics of whatever supplements or whatever it is or something. Mm-hmm. So super smart. I feel like we could talk for hours on this. I want to, like, before we wrap up here, like, promotions are a very sensitive thing. You touched on this a little bit at the beginning. It's like there's brands that say like, well, we don't do promotions. We're not a promotion brand. And then there's other ones that they discount everything and they ruin their ability to charge normal prices. Mm-hmm. What do you want to say to the Shopify world merchants about your worldview on promotions and your thoughts on how they should be run, and what's a good strategy for merchants to think about?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is like, yes, be picky. Don't like if you like, don't like bad discounts, right? Mm-hmm. Like, don't like discounts just because you feel obligated to them. Don't feel obligated to make them unprofitable. I think those are very, very good points. And they should be the first question you kind of answer when you figure out a promotion strategy. But the thing I would focus on everyone else is like, think of the user experience, right? Like, your CFO is not, or your accountant is not
the UX expert.
Product. Yeah. He's not a UX expert. He's not the guy at the cashier at a flea market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are, right? Like you've got to talk to your customers. You talk to them through support. You talk to them through your marketing and through those sort of things. And so, always think about the user experience. If you're beating your head against the wall, thinking like, how can I get more impact? How can we increase conversion? How can we create revenue? I guarantee you there are almost no scenarios where a better user experience doesn't lead to better conversion over time.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's I think a fundamental thing I learned at Shopify, a fundamental thing I've always believed that I've stuck with is like, if you make the user experience, if you make the customer experience better, you will make more money. Right. And so I think it's very important in promotions where like, if your goal is revenue, try and think about the customer experience. And again, the perfect marriage for me there is be picky about how you discount things and which things you discount. Make intentional choices, very informed by your margins, and then make the user experience butter smooth. And if you do both of those things, you win and your customer wins. You know what I mean? Yeah. Discounting everything all the time makes both people unhappy, your customers and you. So I don't like that strategy. Yeah. But yeah, I think we need to do it well.
I think it can be such a powerful tool to build relationships. It's not like we typically think it's a way to like boost sales, but it can be a way to build relationships with your best customers. Like, run something where, everyone that has ordered from you in the past, say, or like handpicked people who have engaged with your content on social media, or, we, in a couple episodes prior to this, we were talking about the 1,000 true fans, the concept of finding your 1,000 true fans. And a lot of stores, they might have tens of thousands of customers, but they really have like 300 true fans, right? And so actually, a question for you, maybe you could do this with Abra, but one of the things I put out on that show was I said, find your true fans. Instead of going out and trying to find like millions of customers, find who your true fans already are that you have. And your true fans are people that have bought from you 3, 4, 5 times. They're the ones answering questions about your brand on social media. If someone says something bad about you on Instagram, they're the one to go in there. Actually, no, this product is awesome. Or they answer people's questions. They're retweeting your stuff. They're engaging. They're referring people.
Yeah.
Find who your true fans are. And maybe it's only 200, maybe it's 300, but create some extremely valuable offer for them and email them and say like, hey, Daniel, I noticed you're one of our top customers, and I'm emailing only a handful of people, and I'd like to actually give you as a thank you for like, we have hundreds of thousands of customers, but we only have like literally 100 that I'm emailing this to. I'd like to offer you this really exclusive offer, like something really special. Plus, I'd like to give you one link that you can share with someone in your life that you think might also want this. And then generally, like the best way to find more true fans is through your true fans, because they know other people like them, right?
Yeah.
So like that could be a wicked promotion you could probably do with Abra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's like two things that come to mind when we talk about that. Like, one is we work with a jewelry brand, and for people's birthday every year, they because I think they actually created they limit the function to only people that have the birthday in that month or something like that.
Oh, no way.
It's a gift with purchase, and they email it, and it only turns on when you get this email.
And that's so cool.
Customer segment. So it's like, oh, it's your birthday. Congratulations. And the website says that too, right?
No way. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then, we do a lot of work with merchants in like sportswear. And like sports. An interesting thing I learned was like, these sportswear merchants have these big pro programs, which is like, in skiing, it's like everyone that works at the ski hill and is an instructor and is involved in the ecosystem in some way, they get enrolled in these pro programs. Yeah. And like we have a merchant that does like fitness and golf and like a bunch of different things. And they must have like, I think last time I checked, like almost like 20 unique pro programs.
Wow.
For different kind of brands that they work with. And their experience is like, hey, you're in this special program. And when you come to our website, please log in. And when you do, it's going to say, welcome back. Here you go. Here's your special pricing. Here's your unique kind of thing there. So I think like people like that. It converts better. Yeah. It converts better than like a generic thing when it's like, it's unique and it's, people can tell that it's for them and it's not for everyone else. Yeah. So I love that strategy anywhere and everywhere. Yeah.
Could you inspired me here. So you set up, say, here's the promotion I want to run. So you mentioned sports brands. So say it's a NFL team, or we sell whatever, and I want to run a promotion that it's a % off for every point they score, up to something stupid, up to like 50, right? But like it might, there's other ways that this could do. Like you could do, if you're creating content, let's say your brand has like a YouTube channel or this, you could be like, tune in live every time that our founder takes a sip of his coffee during the show, we're going to add a % discount. So here's my question. Yeah. Could you send a link to everyone and say, tune in this Friday and here's a special link. And as they score, could I go in Abra, or do I have to do it in the Shopify discount thing? Or, but could I just like, oh, there's a score, change it to 6, change it to 7, change it to 10%, change it to 13. You get the point. And then like they could be shopping and all I have to do is refresh and then their prices change. They don't need a new coupon code or anything. They would change live.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. There you go. There's the $1 million idea.
Yeah.
But if you have any other place you want your customers to tune into, like that would be a wicked way to create engagement, right? Like, it's there's probably a lot there. Like the sports teams is just tip of the iceberg, but there's other ways that you could drive, tune into this podcast. How many times did Jay say, and we'll,
you're not, but
there goes our whole margins for the year.
It reminds me of Toronto Raptors. What was it, Toronto Raptors or the Blue Jays? They used to have, when the teams are very bad, which is like in the early 2000s, I remember it was like, oh, if they score over 100 points, you get a free pizza slice.
Well, and Subway used to do something, I think, with the Raptors where it was like I can't remember what it was, but it was some type of discount as well, too, as however many they scored. So man, it's so cool. Like the sky's the limit with really what you can do. It's this has been inspiring. So I want to leave people with, okay, you have an offer that if people want to try Abra, I'm going to put a link in the show notes and I'll put it in the email and everywhere else. They can just go and install it and just say, hey, I heard about this promotion. They don't need any code or anything. They can just, it's running for everyone. So they will get onboarded and their first promo set up. Like, to me, that's like a no-brainer. Like, I think everyone listening should try it, because if it doesn't work, they can just uninstall it and say, see you later, Daniel. But if it works, like, this could be a huge game changer. So I'll put the details of that in the show notes. Where else would you like to direct people to find you?
They can find me on Twitter. Find me on LinkedIn.
Is that which one are you most active on?
I think LinkedIn.
I see you on LinkedIn quite a bit. You do a lot of good videos on there. So I'll put that in there. And is it abrapromotions.com?
Yes, abrapromotions.com.
Okay.
We try to write quite often and do guides and all those kind of fun things. But yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Daniel, thank you so much. This has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.